Joined on the Batcave today by a special human. He started Good Music All Day. He's a founder of Grouped, and he's even a better human. Tim Weber.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's awesome to have you. Can you start by sharing what first got you interested in supporting music?
Yeah, honestly, being a lonely freshman in college and just missing my high school friends was like, how do I stay in touch with them? What am I doing during college? I'm listening to a lot of music, and I'll share the music I'm listening to with my friends. And then from there, developed relationships with some of the artists that I was posting on that website. And as I came to know the artists, something just itched in my soul where that was all I cared about. All I care about is helping artists. I want to protect artists, and I relate with artists. And that was the genesis in like 2009, and slowly been figuring out for the last 16 years how I can help artists the best way I can.
Oh, that's super cool. Was there like an initial first artist that really like pulled at you and you felt like really connected to?
I would probably say Macklemore would probably be the first one that some of the music connected with, of like stuff that hit home. But I'm probably a weirder fan of music. There's not as much of like the emotional tie that I have with music. I'm also not as much of an emotional human being. I struggle to like feel the highs and feel the lows. I'm pretty even keel. So for me, most of the music I vibe with is what makes me bob my head and like want to dance and catch a vibe or a groove. I'm not as much of somebody that's like, the lyrics changed my life or the song changed my life, which is an odd thing to say as somebody in the music industry. But yeah, normally I'm listening for how it just makes me feel. And
Okay.
yeah, I would say most of the artists that I've really enjoyed working with or had that like first instance of like I want to help them was meeting them or getting to know them as a person and being like, man, that's one of my best friends. What can I do to help them? But it wasn't normally the music that led to that.
Okay. No, that's super interesting. When you were starting out with your page and connecting people, what made you realize, I guess initially, now you have thousands of artists that you help out. When did you realize that something that you were doing was providing value and wasn't just something for fun for you to connect with friends?
Man, that's a great question. I'm still not sure. I think there was a shift that happened with Good Music All Day where we built a following based on other people liking my taste in music. So like I started it for 10 high school friends, gets to 10,000 views a day, 100,000 views a day, 1,000,000 views a day. And all we're doing is posting 10 songs every day. And in the beginning, the reason it gets bigger is because other people like it. But once you hit a certain tipping point or threshold, it really doesn't matter if the music is good. If 1,000,000 people listen to it, you're probably going to be able to tour and do something. So that inflection point became something I was cognizant of like, there was some music I would post that I didn't like, but I knew 16 to 24-year-olds, the demographic of the website, might like. And you could make a career based on that. But yeah, I think to this date, I still struggle with like how much can one person actually impact an artist. I don't really think anyone can. I think the biggest thing I realized over those 15, 16 years was everybody that had the network that I had gatekept it. Everybody either went to a label or management, or somehow it was always like, I could connect you with that person, but first sign on the dotted line. And for me, it was always like, it takes 30 seconds to send a text to somebody, and if something beautiful happens, awesome. Why would I gatekeep that? And that's been my biggest passion in the music industry is don't gatekeep the network and protect the artist and have the artist's best interest as a human being first. And from there, everything else is gravy.
No, that's a really awesome thing. When you're first growing this page and you don't really have any connections, you haven't met artists yet, but you're connecting with more people as it's growing. Was there a point where it started to feel like, because I feel like whenever I guess I didn't really know you when you were doing the blog days, but the group stuff has never felt like it's ever been about you. It's about the community that you're building. And I feel like as humans, it's really easy to adapt something that you build and consider it your own and consider it part of you. What do you think made you who you are, where you can detach yourself and say, I'm building this community, and yes, I'm a part of it. Yes, this is mine, but you don't have like a personal ego attached to it.
Man, I appreciate you saying that. That's very nice to say. Man, that's a hard way to answer that. The same feeling I feel like that people get when they tell you to like volunteer at a soup kitchen or something, and like you get done doing it, you feel really good about yourself. You feel like you did something beneficial, but you don't need to go post it on social media and everything because you actually just feel good. I have that same sense of fulfillment from helping one artist at a time. And so I've never even thought about why I would ever need to be in front of a camera or be the one being interviewed. It's always been the artists that I'm supporting. I would rather them have the spotlight, or Jay Griff over there, the people I work with that I hire that are more talented than I am. There's no need for me to have the spotlight because at the end of the day, I'm not the one with the talent. I'm not the one that's making the art and being vulnerable. I'm just the one sitting there listening to people and trying to figure out how to help. And for the first 12 years in the music industry, I tried to go as far as I could to stay out of the spotlight, and misspelling my name with 2 B's and Weber so you can Google it. I hired somebody to be the reverse publicist to scrape the internet of anything that would have my name. Like, I very much enjoyed not being, I didn't want anyone to know who I was. And it also came from trying to live in LA and winning Grammys and being in the music industry and seeing how much people treat people differently when they have a connotation of who you are and what value you bring. And I just want to be a human being helping human beings. Yeah. And so it makes way more sense for me to be behind the scenes than it does for me to be in front of the camera, because then immediately I can't get the gut reaction that I need to which artist, as I said, that I get that gut feeling when I hang out with them as a person, because music is subjective. Whether or not I like the song doesn't matter. I've helped tons of artists that I don't like their music, but I like them as a human being. But I can't get that read if people know who I am before I meet them. So it actually works to my advantage to be behind the scenes. But
because then you get to see how they treat anybody.
Regular people,
yeah.
Exactly. But it also becomes harder as I scale and as groups gets bigger. There's not enough time in the day to get that gut reaction from every person. And I want to help as many artists as possible. Yeah. So then it becomes, oh, well, there may be value in the Tim Weber brand being out there, because if I make a video like the Tim Talks for the artist community that I was doing, I might be able to help 1,000 artists in a 10-minute segment, versus I can only talk to 2 or 3 artists in 10 minutes on the phone. And those are very quick phone calls or very quick meetings. So it's an interesting dichotomy now, but it's a no-brainer for me to be behind the scenes. I'm not trying to be an artist. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of the recognition. I like helping people.
Oh, that's really cool. When you were first starting with that, did you have issues, I guess, with trying to be behind the scenes and like trying to work with these people, but if these people haven't seen who you are, was that connection piece hard when they don't necessarily know who you are, even if they've seen your name somewhere?
Yes and no. I think the toughest part in the beginning was the first 2 years of GMAD, maybe 3 years. I didn't want to be behind the scenes. I thought I was the rock star. So I wore like sunglasses inside, flat bill, like sponsored by Young and Reckless, wearing a necklace, wanting to be on stage. Like I thought I was the guy. After that, it was very easy to realize that I didn't want that and I didn't like what that came with. But the other side of it was the brand of Good Music All Day at that time was way bigger than me individually. Nobody knew it was me. So I had no problem with other people that worked with me at Good Music All Day. Shout out Creedog, shout out Kayvon, Max. I wanted everybody to have the sense of responsibility, and if they wanted to say that they were the GMAD person, it didn't matter. Like, the point was it was Good Music All Day that was bringing the value, not Tim. And so the fact that that publication and that website had enough pull, it wasn't the Tim Weber name that got the all access passes. It was the name of Good Music All Day, and then somebody could be like, this is the founder of it. Oh yeah, we'll take care of him. We'll get him in this room. So building a platform that had the value made it so I didn't have to be the value. The platform was the value.
Okay. And 2015 comes around and you make the decision to sell the platform. What kind of went into thinking, I like where I brought this, but I'm ready for a new chapter?
Yeah, there was literally, I wish I could say that there was like forward forecasting in my mind of anything. The definition of burnout was what happened. I straight up burnout. To the definition, I ended up in a hospital. I slept 27 hours in 30 days. I was in a manic episode. I was unbelievably stressed out. At the same time, the beauty of the manic episodes, I relate to the Kanye feeling so much. Yeah. It's like having negative money in your bank account and thinking you're a billionaire. Like, that's how I felt at that time. Coming out of the hospital was the realization of like, in order to fix this stress, I'm either gonna have to take medications that are gonna like numb me and I'm not gonna be me, or I have to figure out how to deal with the stress. And most of the stress was the company. So the easiest thing was I have to sell the company so I can figure out how to deal with the stress and where my base level is and all that. And that was my body telling me, too much stress. You're not the one to be the CEO of a company. You're not a good manager. The greatest self-awareness, and trying to sell Good Music All Day was a whole learning lesson in and of itself. Like, I got to be told by Mark Cuban that you started a great brand, but I don't invest in brands, I invest in businesses. And I had a 20 slide deck to show him, and I didn't even last 3 slides and 3 minutes into the pitch. And he's like, yeah, I'm good, I'm not gonna invest in you. And I'm sitting there like, I made $2 million last year, what are you talking about? Like, yeah. I'm hot shit, why do you not want to invest in me? Realizing he was probably right. It was the Tim Weber brand, the taste in music, just masked as Good Music All Day, which then brought a new identity crisis after selling it. It was like, what is my value? Because as you said, like, how do you get in the rooms or how do you get the press passes? Everything was Good Music All Day. So if I don't have that anymore and I've sold every piece of it, do I have any value anymore? And I got to go through a midlife crisis at 26 years old. Like, that's the greatest thing in the world. It brought me everything. It brought me my fiance. It brought me self-awareness of what I'm good at in business and what I'm not. But at that time, it was the lowest of the lows. Like, selling my baby, my first business, my whole identity from 18 to 25 years old was a company, sell it, and then figure out who you are is really hard.
Yeah. How was that going back into music after that? Like after you see the damage that not necessarily the music did, but like the passion you had for something, and trying to go back into it with a different lens later on.
So the first thing I knew was I wanted to help my friends, and the common thing that I kept hearing from like my high school or non-music industry friends was how much they envied like my life or the friends I was hanging out with. It's so cool to hang out with Macklemore. It's so cool to be in the same room as Justin Bieber or all these people. And when I'm with those people, all they talk about is how much they envy the people that work 8 to 5s and get to be a regular human being and disconnect and have their family. And like everybody envied everybody else. And so the very first thing after the GMAD was modeled after a company called the Players Tribune, which Derek Jeter had started for athletes, where athletes write their own stories instead of being interviewed by a publication and quotes taken out of context. They get to write their own stories. Kobe announced his retirement with the letter Dear Basketball on that platform. And in my head, I was like, you can't really name more than maybe 20 or 25 athletes, the average person. But if you think of artists, and artists in the term of musicians, comedians, actors, you can name hundreds of them. Mm-hmm. And imagine the letter from Justin Bieber to his 16-year-old self and not having it taken out of context with tabloids. So that was the first company that I went to do after GMAD. And I got sued for breaching a non-compete from part of the sale of GMAD. And at that time, that ruined everything for me about the music industry, and I truly never thought I would get back in the music industry. I really thought, I hate everything about this business, I hate how it's all about money and legal, I was trying to do something pure, I've watched my friends relapse, that's what I'm trying to get over. And then after that 2 years of trying to fight it and the non-compete running up, I realized all my best friends are still artists. I just relate with artists more, and there's no way for me not to help them. But the bigger difference was I don't want to be the CEO. I don't want to be the business guy. I want to be the guy that gets to just listen to artists and figure out how to help them. And everything I've done since 2018 has been, I'm not going to be the guy. I'm not going to be the CEO. I'm not going to be the dude. I need a team to figure out how to help whatever problem I'm hearing about. And normally, it's just listen to a problem from an artist and connect them with a person or a platform that solves that problem. And if I keep researching and can't find the person or the platform to solve that problem, then it's, oh shit, we're gonna have to start a business. Who's gonna be my business partners? Who's gonna help with this? Because I don't wanna do it on my own. And that was kind of with Grouped, was watching Mike and John with what they were doing with Only Steve's and how bad that platform that they were originally on was. What's the better platform? And I'd rather meet with the founder of Patreon and OnlyFans and Substack and tell them, hey, I can bring artists. I think I know why you guys, it's not working. Mm-hmm. Rather than start Grouped, because I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to start Grouped. But when other people don't see the solution to the problem, it's kind of like, you're missing out. I guess I have to
tried to help.
Yeah, I guess I have to do it. So, yeah.
That's kind of cool though. Like with that going into Grouped, I guess decision, because that was, how many years ago did you guys start Grouped now?
So 5 years ago, 2020 was when it was started. I met Finn in 2021. And we started bringing on artists top of like 2022 probably.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess just modeling it off of the subscription services you talked about and knowing where social media was going, how do you create the buy-in of, this is just outside of perspective thoughts. Anytime anyone starts something new, they have to start at ground zero. Like an artist doesn't want to go leave their Instagram following of 100,000 followers and start with 6 followers. How do you pitch that to an artist that says, I like the way I'm seen right now. I don't want to start this new thing where I'm going to have 6 followers on it to start?
That's a great question. So I'll say 2 things maybe before, and you may have to remind me of that question. So just to explain groups.
Yeah, we should have started there.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
but
Yeah.
The genesis of Grouped is because of Mike, who used to go by Mike Stud, now just Mike, and Kilmer starting Only Steves. And the genesis of Grouped was very much a Patreon alternative. How do you allow artists to have a subscription or community platform, and why isn't Patreon working? And it was very clear Patreon doesn't work for a couple key things. One, when you don't white label something, you end up with this stigma. And no artist wants to say they're on Patreon, because when you're small, it makes you look like you need the money and you're not doing well. And when you're big, it makes you seem like you're a cash grab artist. So by saying Patreon, you automatically lose that. So make Grouped white label. Number 2, at the time, Patreon didn't have a free tier. Even if you had a $9 a month tier, artists don't like promoting something that's only money. They want to give the option for free. And the third part was, artists are different than every other solo entrepreneur. You build a product like Linktree or Patreon, if it's good enough for podcasters and influencers and health and fitness people, it's not going to be good enough for artists, because artists are such a rare breed. So just those 3 things, knew Patreon wasn't going to work. That was the genesis of Grouped. From there, Grouped has very much found a niche in the artist to fan ecosystem that I believe we're the only ones in the platform. It's not even the best ones, but the problem is artists only care about basically 3 things, which is DSPs, aka Spotify. How big are their numbers on Spotify? How big are their numbers on social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and how many tickets can they sell on tour? And all 3 of those things give the artist 0 data. The artist has 0 way to reach any fan that listens to them on Spotify, that follows them on Instagram, or that buys a ticket. You have to run ads, and you don't get their data. So it's happened since before I came in the music industry. People have tried to solve that problem. Community text number was one of the first ones. Right now, the popular one's Laylo. How do you gather data so you can reach your fans directly? The problem is, when you get discovered by a fan on social media and they're curious enough to want more, if you gather their phone number in Community or Laylo, it costs the artist money to then send that text and reach that fan. And because it costs money, I'm only going to do it when I'm selling you something, because I need to make my money back. And as a fan, after the 3rd text, I know I'm being sold to. So engagement goes way down. The cost of it goes up to the artist because they keep getting more numbers. And then they just switch to another platform. And it happens all the time that artists go from Community to ManyChat to Laylo to Pinpoint. Like, the CRM aspect is not the solution. And part of that is a fan that discovers you on social media is curious for more, but they might not be ready to be sold to yet. So the whole point of Grouped is get all of your fans that are what we call active fans. They're willing to at least give you their email. And as soon as they take an action, reward them for that action. Hey, you signed up for free, you're now entered into a giveaway. Now they're entered into the giveaway. Hey guys, my song comes out next week. If you want to hear it early, you can be in a $5 a month tier. If not, you still get a 30-second preview that I'm not putting on social media. So you're still rewarding the fan for each action that they take, and slowly you nurture a fan from being curious about you into wanting to support you. But the problem right now, and the reason to tie it all back to your original question of, I have 1 million followers on Instagram, why do I want to start a new platform with 6 people? The amount of artists that are on Grouped that have over 1 million followers on just Instagram and just TikTok, but have zero idea how many tickets they can sell is unreal. But if you have 1,000 people for free in your group that you know you can reach directly, you can get a booking agent with 1,000 emails. You can't get a booking agent with 1 million Instagram followers because nobody knows if anybody actually cares about you. So to me, the beauty of Grouped is you simplify social media to, this is where you raise the awareness that I exist, and I'm going to get people curious to want more. And if I can funnel them into Grouped, this is my own ecosystem that I can reward those people, nurture those people, and then offer them first access to my merch drop. I can offer them first access to the tickets and whatever, but I know I can reach them directly. And we have tons of artists on Grouped that have 15 million TikTok followers and struggle to get 100 people in their group. While that sucks, that's valuable to know.
Yeah.
Way more valuable to know than trying to book a tour and selling 2 tickets in every city because you think you have 15 million fans.
Yeah.
You don't. Followers on platforms are not fans, but people that give you their email are very inclined to be a fan if you don't sell to them too quickly. And that's where Grouped, to me, there's no other platform where I could be curious about somebody, sign up, and not just immediately be spam sold to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it does a really good job of connecting that gap, because that's not even just small artists that have that issue of selling tickets. Like I remember, not this recent Lil Baby tour, but I think another one he did, and there was a future tour where they had to like cancel show dates, and those are looked at as some of the biggest artists in the industry, but they couldn't sell in the markets they were going to because there wasn't, people weren't seeing it, or they just weren't buying tickets. And
I mean, dude, my friend, once again, not outing you, Alex and Drew, but the Chainsmokers, I mean, they were some of the biggest ones that came up during the GMAD days, and they had to cancel one of their tours because they thought that they were way bigger than they were. And then you realize you don't have that many people that are engaged. You have a lot of eyeballs, a lot of hype, and the problem is that's what every artist still wants.
yeah,
So we're not trying to fight with the fact that you still want streams and you still want followers, but the difference is social media doesn't like when you sell on social media.
right.
So the algorithms hate when you try to promote your tour without buying ads. So if you have everybody that's actually curious about you on one platform and you can reach all of them directly, those are the people to sell to. And that's why Mike and Kilmer are partners in Grouped. Mike may only have 10,000 people in Only Steve's, but he sold out 40% of an amphitheater tour. Average attendance, 5,000 people at the show. 40% of that entire tour was sold out by those 10,000 people.
That's insane.
And that 10,000 people is only 10,000, and he has 5 million monthlies across all the DSPs, 600,000 on Instagram, and all of that only accounted for the exact same as 10,000.
Just 10,000.
So like, it's
You look at the
hard to
numbers,
celebrate
yeah.
6 people,
Yeah.
but 6 people are 6 real people. And the tough part for artists is I'm never going to convince artists of that. Even if they sit in this chair and they're like, yeah, I get it, all they care about is as soon as we turn the camera off, what did my Instagram reel get? How many followers do I have? And simplify social media to be just focus on get discovered, have a call to action so you can actually reach them.
And do you think that part of the reason that conversation changes once the cameras are off is because, and not a negative at artists at all, but just so much of our value over the last 10 years has become tied up in where people see that you're at from a 20,000 foot lens, looking at, like, that's the first thing. If you want to tie value to someone on the internet, is you look at how many followers you have, how much interactions do they get with their post. And the way society is, that's kind of like how your value is assigned as an artist. Like, if you, I've interviewed a few artists that have like 6 monthly listeners, and it's like, I don't understand why they don't get higher than that. Why are they stuck here when they make so much better music than someone that just threw an AI background on it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it is a very complex cycle that, unfortunately, the people and the reason that it's happening are people that are taking advantage of human psychology for all of the wrong reasons, which is the dopamine, short dopamine hits make you addicted to something. The same people that engineer the slots at a gaming casino are the same ones that are engineering Instagram and Facebook and everything else. Because everybody knows it's not about what's best for you, it's about how do I get that quick little, oh I gotta like. I think the really tough part with artists is that, as you said, most people look at an artist Spotify and their Instagram and think they can gauge how big that artist is based on their followers and their streams. What nobody sees is the dollars that that artist takes home. And the music industry is built on trade your dollars for fame. And every artist wants the followers and the streams, so they think they need a major label, and that major label will help them get the followers and the streams because they have the deals. They own part of Spotify. They know that they're going to get you on the playlist. They'll help buy the streams and buy the followers for you, but you make $0, and they're just going to milk you dry in 3 years. Versus you look at somebody like Tech9.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people outside of hip hop fans know Tech9. But Tech9 is happier, healthier, and wealthier than just about every other rapper in the world. Yeah. And so, do people want to be happy, healthy, and wealthy, or do people want fame? And the problem in the music industry is everybody sells fame. And Spotify and Instagram and social following numbers mean jack shit. I know friends of mine making millions of dollars. I know friends of mine making millions of dollars per month that have less than 10,000 followers.
Well, I'm probably happier.
And I know artists that sell out arenas that don't even make $1 million in a month.
That's insane. It's insane to think about. That's where it's at right now with everything.
It is, but it's not anybody's fault. It's not the artist's fault for wanting the fame, because that's what the platforms are built for. We show your monthly listeners, we show the number value, we show your followers at the top of your Instagram. You get self-conscious about it. That's the first thing you care about. What's the first impression? It's really hard to celebrate, as you said, 6 group members going to 8 group members, because that doesn't look cool. Yeah. Nobody cares about it, and they may only be free members. Mm-hmm. So like, it felt way cooler to have that Instagram reel get 10,000 likes. Yeah. Cool, it got 10,000 likes and you got 10,000 new followers. Now sell them a ticket to your tour.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
luck. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What, you're gonna go to your Instagram story and say, I'm going on tour. Then you're gonna wonder why it's only reaching 10%, then 5%, then 3%. Because everyone's skipping your story because you're trying to sell to them on an app where they're taking a shit trying to be entertained. It's not what social media is for.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think it's so easy from your own perspective when you're putting something on social media to think that, like, I want you to see the value I put into this, and it's not necessarily how it works. Like, it's not about them seeing the value you put into it. It's what value you bring to them so that they come back.
It's the value after it. So like, that is I'm glad you said the word value, because to me, the one thing I think every artist, whether they have 5 followers or 50 million followers, they do not realize, I use the term wacky, wavy, inflatable arm, flailing tube man. those like literal things that are outside a car wash just doing this. Artists believe their value is in the song that they made. And so what does an artist do? They say, pre-save my song. Now that you pre-saved it, share this video with somebody. Now comment on this video. Now send this video to 5 friends. Now the song's out. Now stream it. Now RSVP for tickets to my tour. Now buy tickets to my tour. Now buy merch. Everything, they're just asking fans to do shit for them. And nowhere along the line is there value after they do anything. Versus, if somebody discovers you and likes the song and they're willing to give you their email, reward them, bring value. The value wasn't the fact that you put out the song that got the email. That was the you got them curious and hooked with the song. What's the value you can bring them for giving you the email? And that value can be, I'm gonna give away a shirt to everybody that signs up in the next month. And what's that cost? $20? But everybody at least feels like they got rewarded for it. So then when the next song comes out and you ask people to pre-save it, they're like, ooh, I will, because what's the value gonna be? The problem is, artists never bring value. Everything is a cash grab, do shit for me. It is literally, now that I have your attention, now that you know who I am, share this, buy this, do this, RSVP for this, do everything for me. Because my value is this song that I gave you. No, you make the song because you love making music. That's not your value to your world. That's what you would do whether or not you're big. That's why you're an artist, hopefully. That's not your value. Your value is, what do you do for the people that choose to support you? And supporting starts with an email and their data. It's not just the money. So if somebody's willing to give you their email or any type of data so you can reach them, the first time you reach them, better as hell not be sell them something. Because that person's not ready to be sold.
Yeah. Right. As far as going off of value, you've managed to create this massive thing that artists come to, and it's become this huge community. And I think that so much like the human experience in life is so focused on achievements, right? So you built this thing, now this thing has gotten way bigger than it was before. It's constantly growing. I'm sure it's at a point of I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I'm sure it's crazy high how many people are on there. What do you ever get, you said that you're very even keel with everything. Is there a point where you're like, all right, this kind of getting back into the numbers where you're like, all right, the 2 doesn't affect me, this number doesn't affect me, where you have to strive for something different to find joy from what you're doing?
No. I mean, the only thing I care about is helping artists. Like, I'm very lucky in the fact that my fiance and I, we both don't want kids. So like, I don't have to have a big savings for a college fund for my kid when he goes to college. Animals are my fiance's kids. She probably loves a gecko more than she loves 99.9% of humans. And I love her for that.
Yeah.
And I love every artist more than I love most animals or anything else. Artists are my babies. Nothing makes me happier than helping an artist, whether grouped has 1 employee or 100,000 employees, or whether grouped has 1 artist on the platform or 100 million. None of it matters as long as every day I'm taking steps to help artists. I think the only difference for me as grouped grows is it was a lot easier to be an entrepreneur when it's just you, because I'm willing to eat ramen noodles. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to have my power cut off. It's not that big of a deal. But having 14 full-time employees that have health insurance and their families have health insurance, having thousands of artists make money on the platform, if it goes belly up tomorrow, it's not just the artists that I love to help. I'm also letting down people that are making a livelihood and people that are taking care of their kids. So that sense of responsibility is new, but I'll gladly take that sense of responsibility because it means I'm helping more and more artists. So like, I'm not gonna complain about that. But
yeah. And going off of, helping so many people in your circle, just kind of like full circle moment, how have you evolved now so that you don't reach that burnout point with doing this like that happened before?
surround yourself with people that care about you and prevent you from doing it. Because I don't have self-discipline. Like, straight up, it's, you kind of have two options in life. You
go all in.
Or you either have self-discipline, so you tell yourself, I'm not gonna drink or I'm gonna work out every day. So like, I use working out because I think it's a more approachable example. Mm-hmm. You have two people. You have the person that is able to have the self-discipline to wake up and work out every day at 7 a.m. I'm not that person, but I'm the person that I can hire a trainer at 7 a.m. every day. And now it's money out of my pocket, and I'm more accountable for somebody else, even more than the money. I don't want to let you down.
Yeah,
so I'm showing up for you. So I'm not learning self-discipline. I'm just being like, I gotta make it so I'm affecting somebody else. And my fiance, my family, my business partners, the people I work with, they're the reason I'm not burning out. Is because they're the ones that notice you need a vacation. You need to take the week off. You need to do a day off. My investor business partner, Chris, company policy. Every single person that works at Group, 2 different times during the year, you have to take 7 consecutive days off with no Slack, no internal communication with the team. Twice a year for an entire week. You're not allowed to talk to them. And like, that's because if we don't make that a requirement, there will never be a good time to take a week off.
Yeah. There's always something.
So like, you have to surround yourself with people to hold you just as accountable to get shit done as just as accountable to tell you to go relax. That's been mine because I'm not good at self-discipline, so it's way easier for me to surround myself with people that will make sure that I take care of me.
That's all. I mean, I think that's really important. You know, you kind of talked about something there where there's 2 pieces to every problem that comes up in life. You either have to know how to fix the problem or how to, I guess, in a way, work around the problem and make it so that it works and you don't go down a bad hole. So That's awesome that you found a way to.
And the problems will always change, and the problems will always get big and small and irk you in different ways. But I mean, I'm not here to have all the solutions. I mean, literally, one of my tattoos is fail, learn, repeat. Like, I'm not here to succeed. At the end of it, it's not success. It's continual circle, fail, learn, repeat. Because I'm never going to get it exactly right. I'm not going to figure out the meaning of life exactly right. But I enjoy it a little more every day.
Yeah. And that's taking steps.
And that's the most blessed thing in the world. Like, that's truly the most privileged thing I can say is that I am a little happier every day. I have a clean conscience when I put my head on the pillow that I tried and did everything I could. Also, my fiance is going to make fun of the way I said pillow. I did say pillow.
Well, I guess usually I ask people like, what's like forward for you for like the rest of the year, but for you specifically, I'm kind of curious, what's the thing, you know, you've done so much, we're in July now of this year, what's one thing you did this year that made you the happiest out of everything that you've done?
One thing that's made me the happiest out of everything that I've done? Man, what a great question. I did my first vacation in, I think it was 13 years this year. I went on a cruise and did not buy the Wi-Fi package or have cell phone service for, I believe it was 5 days, 4 nights and 5 days, or 5 nights and 6 days. And that's extremely embarrassing to say that that's the first time in over a decade that I've taken a vacation. And it was still with my fiance and her entire family, and it's not like I just disconnected and didn't have to have social energy on, but I would say that felt really good. And outside of that, I would say like this space, like the Group HQ, getting to see the physical culmination of 16 years of hard work, getting to watch artists be excited to walk in here, getting to have people like Ron and Jay Griff just be here and like contribute to to the energy of this space, like that's one of the luckiest things in the world to me is that. Bubba gun.
About the good. No, and I think that was gonna be the last question, but I wanted to add something to the end of what you said that I think is really cool, because you talked about with your previous publication how when you walked away from that you didn't know who you were. The fact that you're at a place now in life where you can go on vacation and not have access to what you probably consider to be a huge part of yourself, you still recognize that there's a Tim Weber outside of that can be out on this cruise and doesn't need this to be a part to still be Tim Weber.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I think my 20s, especially the early ones, I was trying to prove my significance in the world. I went to 3 colleges, Notre Dame, NYU, Belmont, and dropped out. I had to prove that I was better than the people that graduated from colleges. I had to prove to my parents that I'm doing something in the music industry. I had to prove to people in the music industry that I had value. I was trying to prove my significance. I attribute a lot of it to hallucinogens, honestly, like mushrooms and stuff like that, but I think the switch went from proving my significance to finding the beauty in being insignificant. I do not care if I'm significant. I don't care if anybody remembers my name. I love being out in nature and feeling tiny. I love looking at a tree that's been here for 500 years and knowing no matter how much I work out and how good my diet is, I'm not going to live 1/5 as long as that tree. And we all walk by it every day and nobody appreciates it.
Yeah,
so
no,
like,
it's just another tree.
I just stopped trying to be significant, stopped trying to prove my own name, and just realized like, it doesn't matter. You're gonna forget me no matter what. I mean, I think we maybe know 5 names of anybody that lived 2,000 years ago. So another 2,000 years from now, nobody's gonna know our name. Yeah. And that's a freeing feeling that like allows you to just be a good person. Instead of feeling like, oh, well, I have to do this because if I don't, I'm not gonna be significant. And that's where I feel like you make bad decisions, bad business. You do things that are outside of alignment with yourself because you feel like you have to be significant, versus just being like, as long as I can eat food and I'm willing to sleep in my car, I'm good. Like, yeah, everything else is gravy. Hopefully.
I think that's a great place to end it.
Well, before we end it, I have to say, you, sir, I fucking respect the hell out of you. You live the motto that I live. You bring nothing but value to artists. You're still trying to figure out the exact way that you can, whether it's interviews, whether it's concert recaps, whether it's you just reaching out and trying to figure it out. But like, you have been somebody I've followed. I love the way you do the interviews. I love the artists that you support. I give the biggest cosign in the world to this man, Batcave, for president, without a doubt.
I appreciate that a lot. Seriously, a lot.
Utmost respect, bro.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course. It was